Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Zanzarellis zehnter Weinprobe am 8. Januar 2021, unsere erste Weinprobe im neuen Jahr. Herzlich willkommen und auch willkommen im neuen Jahr. Heute eine besondere Weinprobe mit gleich 3 Weingütern. Einmal Begnardi mit dem dann mit Madrevite aus Umbrien und mit Martoccia aus Montalcino. 3 sehr schöne Weingüter, die uns seit langem am Herzen liegen, mit denen wir auch schon lange zusammenarbeiten. Ist natürlich heute ein bisschen technischer, weil 3 Leute. Ich hoffe, es funktioniert trotzdem alles. Und ich freue mich auf unsere Gäste und sage willkommen Madrevite. Willkommen Begnardi und willkommen Martoccia. Wir haben Alessandro von Begnardi, wir haben Elena von Madrevite und wir haben Luca von Martoccia. Herzlich willkommen. So, welcome to our tasting, the first one in 2021. Yes, welcome to the tasting. So we first start with the first wine with Alessandro and Begnardi and the Montecucco Rosso. Really?
Yes.
So I do a quick so the people who don't speak English so good are kept up. I do a quick thing in German for them. So, damit alle, die vielleicht Englisch nicht so gut verstehen, weiter im Boot bleiben. Also, wir müssen gerade, weil die Bandbreite von unserem Internet nicht ausreicht, auf die Unterhaltung das in die Richtung machen, dass wir immer einen mit einem paaren. Also, dass ich jetzt mit Alessandro rede und danach mit Elena und danach mit Luca, damit unser Internet nicht in die Knie geht. Alessandro hat auch erklärt, es ist ein kleines Weingut, 6 Hektar, nicht so viel, also relativ klein, 10.000 Flaschen und sie haben es letztes Jahr auf 15.000 Flaschen quasi ausgeweitet und das ist halt ein wirklich kleines Weingut, das mir aber sehr am Herzen liegt, weil es einfach einen wunderschönen Wein macht, über den wir jetzt reden werden. So, we are back to you, Alessandro. The Montecucco Rosso. I have it in my glass now.
Yeah.
So first we should tell the people what grapes are in it.
This is a blend. Is the only one blend that we make. This blend is made by 80% of Sangiovese. That is a typical variety of Tuscany. In Tuscany, we produce Sangiovese almost everywhere. And the other 20% is split between Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, that are 2 varieties typical of French.
Mm-hmm.
And this we decide to add these 2 other varieties. Because Cabernet, it helps the color, because Sangiovese, for his characteristics, is almost, not transparent, but almost, because it's very, very clear. And Cabernet give some intense ruby red.
Mm-hmm.
And Merlot give to this wine the part of fruity. If you put the glass near your nose, you can feel the fruity part. It's very fruity, this wine.
Mm-hmm. I always remember, or what I really like about this wine is if you open the bottle and you take the first smell, it always have this little smell of oh, what's the English word? Himbeer. Himbeer in English? Anyone? It has a not fragole, but the other not. I will remember it in a moment. It's a red fruit.
I think the plum, the purple fruit.
The red fruit that's not blackberry, but the red one.
Cherry.
Raspberry, sorry.
Raspberry, yeah.
Raspberry. It's a slight smell like raspberry and jam. You know,
yes.
like this. That's what I really. That's the smell I really like about the wine. When I open the bottle,
it have some sweet note, but it's not a sweet wine, of course. But it have this sweet note in the background.
At least in the smell. I think in the taste you don't have so much sweetness because it's a dry wine. So, I have to explain in German for a moment.
Okay.
Was wir gerade besprochen haben, ist dieser Duft nach Himbeermarmelade, der immer kommt, wenn man die Flasche gerade aufgemacht hat. Ich weiß nicht, ob ihr das auch riecht. Wenn es jemand riecht, dürft ihr das gerne im Chat kundtun, um nochmal zu erklären, dass es diesen Chat gibt und dass ihr da auch Fragen stellen könnt und euch melden könnt, falls ihr irgendwas wissen möchtet. So, now we are back to English and to explaining what we taste.
Okay. In the mouth, this one is, I think it's thanks to Merlot, is a soft wine. It's a full body wine because it have also alcohol in it. But it's, I mean, you can drink two glass and don't feel anything, or maybe even three. Maybe you can feel the alcohol when you stand up for the table, but it's a soft wine. You drink very, very well, I think. And it have also it's very tannic. You can feel the tannic, and this is typical of Sangiovese. This wine don't go in wood. It stay only in steel, and so the tannin are not. I don't know in English. Are not.
It's not from the wood, but it's from the grape, or
yeah. Yeah, it are not helped for the wine. For the wood.
Ja. Ich erkläre nochmal in Deutsch. Der Wein hat ein paar Tannine. Das ist immer so dieses leicht raue, was ihr merkt auf der Zunge. Aber die kommen nicht vom Holz, weil der Wein war nicht im Holz, sondern ist ein reiner Stahltankausbau. Und die Fruchtigkeit und die Weichheit kommt vom Merlot, der da drin ist. Es sind 80% Sangiovese und jeweils ungefähr 10% Cabernet Sauvignon und Merlot. Und so eine Weichheit und Fruchtigkeit kommt vom Merlot und die Tannine kommen dann eher vom Sangiovese. So I just explained it smoothly in German.
Yeah. In the mouth is even persistent, because after a few seconds I still feel the fruity part, and also the mineral part. I think it's enough. I feel the mineral part in the back of the mouth.
It stays very, it's very soft and smooth, but still has a lot of length.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for this reason, I think that this wine is pairing good with food like meats. I mean, here in Italy, we eat lots of meats, so it's easy. Especially maybe mixed grill meat, and maybe it's even good with cheese that are very persistent too. I don't know. I always advise this even with pasta, but maybe pasta with meat.
Also mehr für fleischlastige Gerichte geeignet, weil in Italien wird halt traditionell doch relativ viel Fleisch noch gegessen, aber auch mit Pasta oder halt auch mit ein bisschen Gemüse. Auf jeden Fall ein sehr schön lang anhaltender Wein. And we prepared some pictures of the winery. Maybe we should show them so you can explain a bit about the place. I've been there like a couple of years ago, and I remember your uncle at the when we went. We had like a meal there, and he was jumping from the table to get some fresh figs from the tree for us, because he was like, "You have to eat the figs with the prosciutto and then drink the wine. That's the perfect mix." That was very nice when he was just jumping up and getting some fresh figs from the tree directly. So here you see some views of the house.
Yeah, this is our agritourism. We have also like an holiday house between the vineyard, as you can see.
Genau, das ist das Ferienhaus, was sie haben, was mitten in den Weinbergen steht. Ich glaube, da sind 2 Wohnungen drin. Also falls ihr mal nach Italien fahren wollt und eine schöne, ruhige Unterkunft sucht mit einem kleinen Pool, das wäre bei Begnardi. And we just had a picture of the production.
Yeah, this is some work that we do during the harvest time. Especially here, we take some wine from the bottom of the barrel and put it on the top to give some oxygen for the fermentation. And here we use some ice to protect the wine.
That looks very impressive.
Yeah.
And
these are my dad and my granddad. This summer during a taste that we make in our winery.
They both still work in the winery together with you?
Yes. My dad is the owner of the winery, and my granddad always help us every day. Go in the vineyard, go where we need it. He come. And here on the right, he is my uncle, the person who teach me how to make wine, basically.
And that's the view about the hills?
Yeah, this is the valley that we see from the vinery.
It's a very nice area.
Yeah.
You're very lucky to live there.
Yeah. This is my granddad in a very old tractor, Landini. This is the first tractor that he bought when he bought the house. And it was broken, and my uncle restored it 5 years ago, more or less. And this is the first journey that he made again in the tractor.
Oh, that's great.
It was very, very happy.
I can imagine these old tractors are really have a lot of history, and I know there's a movement in Germany where they protect such old tractors and make meetings and stuff like that. So
the picture before was a part of the harvest time, because we pick up everything by hand, because we think that it's better for do some type of wine, it's better to pick up by hand. But we are also in a place that is very, I mean, it's not easy to cultivate and easy to go with tractor and stuff like this. So for us, it's better to pick up everything by hand, even for the quality.
Okay.
This is the new 2019 that will be on the market soon.
It's a very nice picture. So yeah. I will do a quick translation so everybody's in the boat again. Die Bilder, die wir gerade gesehen haben, waren die Familie, also der Vater und der Onkel und der Großvater, der noch im Weingut arbeitet. Und das Bild mit dem Trecker hat ihn gezeigt auf der ersten Fahrt mit dem alten Trecker, den er quasi, als sie das Weingut erworben haben in den frühen 70ern, quasi schon hatte, der jetzt lange kaputt war und dann in den letzten 5 Jahren restauriert wurde. Und das war seine erste Fahrt mit dem Trecker wieder, nachdem er neu war. Von daher wirklich schöne Bilder aus dem Weingut. Da kriegt man gleich Sehnsucht, ein bisschen zu reisen. I just told you just want to travel again when you see the pictures and just, go to Italy and have a nice vacation. When you see the picture. So, yes. So, are there questions in the chat? My technician.
Spontan nein. Ich muss gerade noch mal unsere Leute wieder dazu holen.
Okay. So, thank you for now, Alessandro. And there are no questions in the chat, so I think everybody is happy. And we just move on to Elena now with the next wine. So, welcome back, Elena.
Hello, I'm here again.
So
we retry.
We try. So tell us about the winery and how long you're doing the winery and how big you are, how many hectares you have, and how many and how much bottles you produce.
Yeah, of course. So I remind you that we are in Umbria, so close to the Tuscany colleague. We are in the Trasimeno area. Mm-hmm. The property amount around 60 hectares in total. Most of all in a unique body. Divided in vineyards, olive grove, the field of sediments, but above all about the production of legumes. Those three is our core business. Most of all, the core business is about wine, but also we are a farm. So as a farm, we produce other things. In fact, the property is vocated to be agriculture since 3 generations. That one, the modern one, chef by Nicola. I'm not a part of the family, but I'm a worker. But it seems like to be a part of the family because you have to consider a family business, a family management. Mm-hmm. We are not so big. We are small. We are a typical small winery of the central part of Italy, but we are looking for a small growing, and our dream is to get know our production in much more area respect now. So in the world, in Europe, in Italy too. But you have to consider a family management. So yes, he is Nicola that stay up to the Vespa. Maybe you know the typical Vespa of Italy. Our property produce about 25,000 bottles, 30,000 bottles per year. Mm-hmm. So it's a small, medium production.
Let me quickly translate. A few sentences. Elena, also Madrevite sitzt in Umbrien. Umbrien ist quasi, da wo die Toskana aufhört, fängt Umbrien an und da ist auch der Trasimenische See. Also wir wandern quasi auf dem Stiefel Italiens so ein bisschen nach unten. Und der Trasimenische See ist einer der größten und wichtigsten Seen in Mittelitalien. Auch sehr berühmt für die Karpfen. Das Weingut selber hat ungefähr 60 Hektar, wobei und der Hauptteil oder das Wichtigste ist der Wein. Aber sie produzieren halt auch, also es ist eine richtige Farm, sie produzieren halt auch Getreide und Gemüse. Und das ist halt eine Mischform, aber der Wein ist schon das Wichtigste in der Produktion. Und ist ein kleines Weingut, sie produzieren nur 25.000 Flaschen, was in Italien wirklich klein ist. Mittelgroß ist man in Italien erst, wenn man 250.000 bis 500.000 Flaschen produziert, nur um euch eine Größe zu geben. So, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. There is every day and in every kind of production, as you maybe know, the passion, a deep and strong link with past and with the tradition, because you have to know that this family started the production of wine into the last part of 60s. So you have to consider also an important passage between the past, the family and traditional management, to a much more modern approach that is not so easy to do it every time and with every person of the family. So the link from past and future is important. The link with tradition and innovation also too. So the family, the property was restored in around 2000s. And with this restructuring of the cellar before, but dealt with also a restoration of the production from much more vinification of the blend and the typical blend or international varieties, to the production of the purity, so 100% of the grape. So now the result see the production of the purity. That's one of our focus and one of the most important characteristics we have. Sangiovese too, so Glanio, that we will explain then, is one of our purity, so 100% of the grape. I don't know. It's a small winery. We are in the DOC, in the DOC, the important appellation that maybe you know of Trasimeno. And Glanio is one of our DOC of Trasimeno Red.
So what grapes are in it? So what are the grapes of the Glanio?
The grape of the Glanio is Sangiovese 100%. I turn and I keep the bottle and glass me too. Glanio is 100% of Sangiovese. The vintage is 2016, the vintage you have.
Yes.
It's 100% of Sangiovese. If you want, I say something about the name. Glanio was...
Yes.
Glanio is an ancient river that passed in the downest part of our valley, because you know that we are in between two lakes, Trasimeno and Chiusi Lake. Chiusi, the ancient word of Chiusi was Chiugi, and near this Chiugi passed a river called Clanis with C. Clanis was one of, during the modern time, of course, was inflectioned by and used by other winery as a name of label, and so we use the letter G to call our and Italianize, of course, not Glanis but Glanio in the Italian way. So from Glanis to Glanio. So it's that means that we want to keep the territory and to show the territory in our wine. I say you that is our DOC Trasimeno, but most of all, this wine is a cru of wine, the most famous Francis cru. We say cru because, in fact, we call the vineyards which come from this Glanio, this Sangiovese, Vigna le Capanne, that you maybe see in the label in the orange writing. Vigna le Capanne is it's an old term to define this kind of space of field. Don't have any particular meaning, but in the past was used by the winemaker and the owner of the property to call to give the name to the same to our field. So that's because we call Vigna le Capanne. Vigna le Capanne because really is
Jetzt ist es weg.
Is 100%. So it's Sangiovese. It's Sangiovese. So maybe it's, you know, that is one of the most important and produced wine in the central part of Italy.
Yes.
That's that's our interpretation of these Trasimeno hills.
Mm-hmm. But it's a very it's a more Umbrian view on the grape, and you're very bound to the local surroundings and the terroir, also the earth that surrounds you and the whole hills and everything. Because it's I remember being there, and it's you have much less trees than there are in Tuscany. Tuscany, it's all like wooden hills, and with coming to Umbria, it's going more grassy hills or less trees. It's not. It's another color of the area. The color changes. The area changes the color.
Yes. So. We are much more wild respect to Tuscany. Yes, we have a wild ground, a wild landscape. Yes, really, that's a good observation.
Should we show some pictures of the vineyard so the people see a little bit more, or should we first do something about the taste? Tell a little bit about the taste.
Yes, sure.
So here we have some grapes.
Yes, that's the Vigna le Capanne. That's a part of these vineyards, of course. That's a period of the harvest, as you can see. So the ground, as you can see, the soil is clay soil. Maybe in that moment was also a dry moment, but thanks to the clay soil, you can. I don't know if you know, but we can keep the freshness because the soil can keep the freshness, the water during the raining time, and to replace, to re-give to the plants in a dry moment.
I know. I will quickly explain in German. So
yeah, of course.
Die sind halt sehr verbunden der trasimenischen Erde und die Trasimeno beziehungsweise Umbrien ist halt vom auch so hügelige Landschaften wie in der Toskana, aber die Landschaft hat eine andere Farbe. In der Toskana sind es alles sehr bewaldete Hügel und sie sagte gerade, sind mehr weiße Hügel, weil da in der Gegend gibt es halt auch mehr Getreide und da wird es einfach, sind es dann helle Wiesen und helles Getreide und halt auch Wein, aber auch viel Gemüse und viel Korn, also viel Getreide. Deswegen hat die Landschaft eine andere Farbe. Und hier sieht man ganz gut die Erde in einem trockenen Moment. Das ist Lehm und Lehm speichert Wasser. Und gibt es halt auch später an die Trauben ab, was halt für den Wasserhaushalt der Traube sehr, sehr gut ist. So we are back to you.
Yeah. I don't know. Can we taste some?
Yes.
Some wine.
So we try the Glanio.
Yeah. Glanio, I forgot to say it, but is one of the most important thing. Glanio is the first bottle of the family of Madrevite.
Das ist der erste Wein, den Sie hier in die Flasche gepackt haben.
Yes, Glanio was born in 2004 with a totally different dress, with another kind of bottle, with another kind of label. Before, at the first year of the creation of Madrevite, because Madrevite was born in 2003, Glanio was a blend between Merlot and Sangiovese at first. The second step was Sangiovese. The basic of Sangiovese was very important. And Gamay del Trasimeno, another our important grape that we have. Maybe you know Gamay del Trasimeno as Grenache, internationally known. Now Glanio is in purity, 100% of Sangiovese. So I think it's interesting also know this development. Our focus, our point, our target, it was to produce an easy to drink wine. An easy to drink wine because we live, I say more time, we live near to Tuscany. In Tuscany there are so many important Sangiovese that have done a lot of period of aging into the oak. And so our interpretation wanted to be to introduce a fresh wine, not so strong. Not so heavy. In fact, Glanio don't have any kind of period of oak or wood in general, but just a steel and concrete tank.
Concrete tank, okay.
Yes.
How big are they?
The concrete is 15 or 20 hectoliters, not more. So
okay.
It's small, relatively small, because our cellar is small. Another characteristic that means the liquid passes also the concrete, because consider that the concrete now is too present in the winery, but for us, didn't leave the cellar anytime. So it's an important materials to get the aging of the wine without without giving the smoky flavor to the wine.
Let me quickly give a German.
Yes, sorry.
Der Glanio ist der erste Wein des Weingutes, also der erste, den sie je in Flaschen gepackt haben, und er hat eine kleine Geschichte der Wandlung hinter sich. Am Anfang haben sie das mit Sangiovese und Merlot gemacht, dann mit Sangiovese und Gamay di Trasimeno, was eine Variante des Grenache ist. Und jetzt ist es reiner Sangiovese. Und er wird im Stahltank ausgebaut und auch im Concrete Tank. Und das ist quasi ein Betontank, kann man das übersetzen. Das hat den Vorteil, dass der porig ist und eine leichte Mineralität in den Wein kommt und der Wein halt auch meistens sehr gut altert. Also es hat nicht so dieses Klinische von dem Stahl, sondern es ist dann meistens ein bisschen organischer, um das mal so zu beschreiben. Ist eine Technik, die lange vergessen war oder außer Acht gelassen wurde und jetzt in den letzten 10 Jahren einfach eine Renaissance gemacht hat. I was just explaining that the concrete is an old technique that was like forgotten in between, and it has like a renaissance in the last 10 years.
Yes. Yeah. It's a old technique. It's a unique method of vinification after the oak. Mm-hmm. Now it is the steel container with the controlled temperature, but before not. So the concrete was a good alternative. And now for us, it's a good alternative of aging. So of a small or long maturation of the wine into this barrel. This wine in particular, do the harvest of it, we do the harvest most of all from the second, third part of September up to the third, fourth week of October. So we need more than 1 month because the harvest is manually. 12 hectares of vineyards is a lot to do the harvest manually, and to pass from one grape and another is an important work. An important work, above all, we have to work the grape soon, just after the cut. Mm-hmm.
Sie hat gerade erklärt, die Ernte dauert fast 1 Monat, von September bis Oktober. Das sind 12 Hektar, die per Hand geerntet werden, und das braucht halt seine Zeit und man muss dann immer gucken, welche Traube in der richtigen Reihenfolge dann reif ist, was halt auch noch ein bisschen Zusatzarbeit macht. Also die Weine sind halt handgelesen. So back to you.
Yeah, so the first passage into the vineyards is to harvest, to pick the grape to produce an house wine. The second passage, and so the best grape that stay in the vineyards is to produce Glanio. Then Glanio do, of course, 10-12 days of fermentation. In this part, of course, we use the steel container because we can control the temperature. And then we do a soft pressing of the grape. The next step is the steel, but then the concrete container for 10-12 months. That depends on the analysis, the stabilization of the wine, and also the need of going out of this wine, really. But above all, that's the way of this wine, each vintage. Mm. Another step important is the relaxing into the bottle before the business. So most of all, we keep it 4 months in the 4 or more months in bottle before going on selling. Mm-hmm.
How many bottles of Glanio do you produce?
We generally produce around from 40,000 to 60,000. Mm. That's the range.
Okay, just explaining for. How was the harvest this year? How was harvest 2020?
2020, it was a good harvest without any kind of problem. A little bit dry in the last part and too much rain in the first part of the season, of the summer season. But we live in a paradise place, I always say, because we have a good excursion between the day and night. Not so many problem about the microclimate. So a kind of mitigation of the climates, because we live between two lakes. You have to remember.
Oh, that's the picture just shows how much paradise there is.
Yeah, yeah. That's the vineyards that are so close to the winery, to the basic property. Vigna Le Capanne is 2 kilometers far respect the basic property. But is a part of it. In the top of the hill, where you see in that cypress, you can see a part of the oldest vineyards planted 70 years old, 70 years ago, and a part of the new one that we have planted during time. You see the oldest olive grove that do this kind of triangle there. So that's our most of all the property. In the right side of the house, instead, there's the property. That's our property that maybe you can see now better in the picture, but we are there. That's the harvest time. That's the vineyards just after the property, the house. Maybe he is Nicola that is guided the truck. That's Chiusi Lake. We enjoy most of all the landscape of the Tuscany, and so the Chiusi Lake. That's because most of all our picture print this kind of landscape. But these two lakes for us is very, very important, because I say get the mitigation of the microclimate. For us is very, very important respect to other area.
So that's a view to the north, and the mountain in the back, is that Monte Ammiata, or is it something?
Really? Yes. Okay. Yes.
So let me explain for our customers.
Okay.
Das ist, also ihr seht jetzt den Blick nach Norden. Das ist der eine See, und hinter uns quasi wäre jetzt der Trasimenische See. Und der Berg, den ihr da hinten seht, das ist der höchste Berg der Toskana, der Monte Ammiata. Der hat so ein ganz, so ein Kegel, so eine Kegelform. Den sieht man von überall, egal wo man in der südlichen Toskana und auch in Umbrien langfährt. Man kann immer diesen Monte Ammiata sehen. Genau, um das nochmal zu erklären. So back to you. I just explained that you can see Monte Ammiata from wherever you drive in the southern Tuscany or in Umbria. You always see Monte Ammiata.
Yeah. Now is full of snow, so it could be a beautiful view.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's snow on it. That's wow.
Yeah, a lot. Yes, we use, just to explain this picture, there's the barrique. So we use the barrique, but for any other wine, our target is to produce most of all the easy to drink and fresh wine, respect to the old and heavy wine. That's our mission, if I can see mission. About Glanio, just to have some characteristic of the wine. ruby red, not so intense the color, as you can see, the color is not so intense, but is a normal thing. That have done an important period of maceration, but the skin which come from the color is not so colorful. So ruby red, the parfum, the parfum, of course, is too intense respect to the color. Yes, blackberry, cherry. I don't know, pepper, a lot of pepper also, I think. So, but the typical flavor of Sangiovese, in fact, is pepper and blackberry. So, about the testing matching, we always say that Sangiovese is the typical wine of a family reunion or a family Sunday lunch. But for an international, much more international approach, we can say that it's good for also with hamburger. That is very, very good also for that.
Ja, sie hat gerade erklärt, dass es ein sehr schöner Wein ist für Familientreffen, aber man kann es auch mit einem guten Burgergericht essen. Und zwischendurch hat sie noch erklärt, dass die Farbe ein bisschen heller ist, was sehr typisch für Sangiovese ist. Und eine leichte Pfeffernote in dem Wein ist. Und ich weiß nicht, ob ihr schon reingeschmeckt oder länger reingeschmeckt habt, aber was auch sehr schön durchkommt, ist diese leichte Mineralität durch diese Tanks. Aber sehr schöner, langer Wein, der lange auf der Zunge bleibt. Genau. I just explained the taste once more in German, yeah. So really a very nice wine that I love to have in my shop. And it has a lot of fans and
yes.
A lot of long-time fans who even, with the transformation from the mix with Gamay di Trasimeno to the new 100% to Sangiovese, the people were following it. Even some long-time fans of the wine switched to the new variation. So it worked quite well.
The last development and CULO is this label.
Oh, there will be a new label.
Yeah, the 2017 will be this new label that is too similar to the other label that we have. So to have a kind of uniting of a language.
Yeah, nice.
A communication. Yes.
A good way to look forward to what comes next.
Yeah.
So now I say we switch to the next. We switch to Martoccia, and in the end we meet again.
Yeah.
So
sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we are switching to the next winery. That's Luca from Madrevite.
Buonasera.
Buonasera. So we have two wines that we are tasting with you, and we are starting with Poggio Aprigale. But first, tell us a few words about the winery.
Yeah, for first, thank you for the time, for that opportunity in a very difficult moment. That is very important for our farm. Stay with our colleague, with you, and with our customers. Very good moment for represent our farm, introduce our winery. Our winery is in Montalcino land, the famous area where we produce also Brunello di Montalcino. Mm-hmm. We are very close the town, Montalcino town, only 100 meters from the forte, the castle of Montalcino. Mm. And we are very lucky for that. You can see my farm from the church of Montalcino, from the castle. And my winery, born in 1993, from me and my father. And we decided to start our farm when the government gave the younger people to plant Sangiovese, to plant Brunello di Montalcino directly. We take that opportunity together, my father and my mother. My family really is very whole family in Montalcino. In fact, my uncle, my cousin, my parent have many farms in Montalcino. Montalcino is a very, very beautiful land, but
oh yes,
there are inside many family, and there are like 300 farm. Every family like have one farm, because in Montalcino live only 5,000 people, and there are 300 farms.
Yes, I remember. I've visited your winery, and the town is really beautiful.
Yeah, it's very my pleasure. Also, I wait you for next time, because now the work is finished. We improved my cellar in the last year, and we make the room for testing, and also we open the flat for wait our customer, our friend, and that is very opportunity for you staying again in our Montalcino land.
That sounds lovely. Let me give a quick summary to my customers in German, so they know what you said until now. Das Weingut liegt in Montalcino. Montalcino ist eine berühmte Stadt, in der eine mittelalterliche Stadt, in der Brunello di Montalcino produziert wird. Es gibt auch einen Brunello von Martoccia. Das Weingut liegt quasi wenige 100 Meter vom Stadtkern, und man kann es von der Burg aus sehen. Es ist wirklich wunderschön, und es wurde in den 1993 von ihm und seinem Vater gegründet, aber er führt es jetzt, und es ist einfach ein Familienbusiness. Die ganzen Weingüter im Montalcino sind kleine Familienbusinesse. So, now back to you.
Last year we planted the last 15 hectares of vineyard. Now we have a 15 hectares of vineyard, and we produce we bottled around 80,000 bottles. But really, we start in 1993. Only when we start, we bottled only 5,000 bottles. We grow every year, and now we arrive finally in 15 hectares.
Wow.
11 of that is in Montalcino land. 3 hectares and half is in Montecucco area. And our first wine is Poggio Aprigale. In fact, that is the blend of the grapes, blend of the land, blend of the particular story of Tuscany, because we make inside the Sangiovese from Montalcino. My vineyard in Montalcino, every my grapes of Sangiovese in Montalcino, we can make Brunello, but we decide to make also my Rosso di Montalcino, my Poggio Aprigale, and you can understand the evolution of the Sangiovese for my bottle. And they blend the land, because in that bottle you can find the Sangiovese from Montalcino and the Merlot and Colorino from Montecucco area. And that wine is very well for every day, for lunch, for dinner, and also after lunch, because it's very elegant wine, it's very drinkable wine, and it's very really well for introducer the people in Sangiovese, because the mouth for Sangiovese need ready, because it's very strong grapes Sangiovese, and in Montalcino in particular is very heavy, very tannic, and it's not easy introduce directly the people in Sangiovese from Montalcino grapes. Poggio Aprigale, it's the board of the Sangiovese, because inside there are about 85% of Sangiovese, and we can talk about a very important Sangiovese wine. The color of that wine is very, very dark. It's very dark, but the color remains the younger wine, because it's very the color, also the nose. It's very close the raspberry, the fresh fruity, and also you can taste first the fruity, the fresh fruity. But if you wait some few seconds, arrive the vanilla, also liquirizia. I don't know in English,
yes,
but I can
I know.
understand.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I will translate.
Yeah, sure.
Der Wein ist Sangiovese, 85%. Und man merkt so, wie der sich langsam öffnet. Und dann kommt irgendwann, außer von diesen fruchtigen Noten des Sangiovese, irgendwann so ein Lakritzeton durch. Liquirizia in Italienisch. Das ist, ich weiß, das sind halt diese Süßholznoten. Müsst ihr mal ein bisschen reinschnuppern. Ich habe sie schon entdeckt, aber ich bin auch Lakritze-Liebhaberin, von daher bin ich da voreingenommen. Und er hat zwischendurch noch erklärt, dass das Weingut sehr langsam gewachsen ist, von 5.000 Flaschen am Anfang bis zu 80.000 Flaschen jetzt. Als ich da war, hatte er, glaube ich, noch zwischen 5 und 8 Hektar. Also jetzt sind es 15, das ist so ganz langsam gesund gewachsen. Habe ich halt auch schon sehr lange im Programm. So, back to you. I just explained the slow growing of the vineyard, because you started like small and now you're up to 80,000 bottles. And when I was there in, I don't know, I think it was 2012 around.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. I think back then you had like 5 hectares and were like,
in 2012, yes.
And then you just planted some more in that year, but it was like real fresh work. So it's been a while.
You know, I plant my hectare like every year. I plant in 2010 my bigger piece of vineyard, but in 2012 don't produce the grapes, because it's very younger vineyard. And after we plant again a few hectares. But now, if the nose is a little bit changed, arrive the little bit sensation from the oak, because that wine aged for 6 months around in the oak. I use a different oak for that wine, like Rosso di Montalcino. I use big barrels, I use medium barrels. And in particular, I use a little bit part of French oak. And that no helping, make few particular different nose inside the wine, and that helping for the very complex, for very elegance, total elegance inside. That is very...
Nochmal zum Erklären, er benutzt große Holzfässer für 6 Monate und auch ein ganz bisschen französische Eiche, also und um dem Wein die Struktur und die Größe zu geben, die er hat. Es ist halt ein eleganter Wein.
Yeah. In the mouth you can say the same sensation from the nose. It's very fruity, is a very fresh wine, but also is very also it's heavy, and it's very and you can taste the very full body. It's a very elegant wine. Yeah. Not very powerful, but heavy wine.
It has a very good mouthfeel. It's very nice in the mouth, and it goes down very smoothly.
Yeah. And also you can have a different sensation from few seconds, more second. You can 15, 16. You can go on. You listen different different sensations. That is very, very important for the wine, you know. And inside there are really the complex, very complex Sangiovese, and also together the Merlot and Colorino. You have a very full body and a very balanced also body, because it's very important use the blend in that moment, because in that wine, because it's 2019 that bottle.
I think we still have the 18.
You have a.
Yes, I think we still have the 18.
Sorry, 2018, and but it's very younger wine, only 2 years old, and for the Sangiovese, the tannic is very stronger, and if you use the Sangiovese when the wine is very younger, it's difficult to drink, and in fact we use Merlot for helping that, for have the soft mauve, and that is very well for that.
So and, with every sip you take, it develops a little bit more in the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. The development is very, very beautiful, and also change many times, like the nose change in the mouth many times. That is very, I think, is the first important question in the wine. If you have only one sensation, the wine it's well, but it's not fantastic. That is the question. It's you know.
Yeah.
And also is that I am that wine is very important in my farm, because represents the hill where we have my better vineyard, because Poggio Aprigale say hill in front of the sun, in the top of the hill, and that is my very, very bigger my better grapes of Sangiovese come from that area, and it's very, very important wine for me. That wine also it's very, very drinkable, and you can drink that wine together every food, from an example pasta, younger cheese, or together meat, together some different plot. That is very, very good for every food, and also when you arrive in Sangiovese, only Sangiovese 100%, like my Rosso di Montalcino, is better test together the old cheese, red meat, but that wine from my cellar is very well for together every food.
Ja. It's a very nice wine for every food. Also ein schöner Wein für jedes Essen, das sehr ausdrucksstark ist und sehr elegant und sich mit jedem Schluck noch ein bisschen verändert. Also auch die Nase verändert sich noch, was halt sehr schön ist. Da kann man lange irgendwie immer noch mal einen Schluck nehmen und hat immer noch mal einen neuen Eindruck. Das ist etwas, was ich an Weinen manchmal sehr mag. Maybe we should move to showing some pictures of your winery, so people know what we are talking about. So people get an impression where it all comes from.
Also ich habe ja vorhin auf der Webseite geguckt und ich hoffe, wir können bald wieder reisen.
Yes, my husband just said he looked on your webpage for the room that you can book there, and he hopes that we can travel again soon. Because it's so beautiful. So here we see you in the vineyard.
Yeah, it's my family, my father and my mother.
I remember being there.
Yeah. But the first picture is my new room for where we waiting you and our friend and also the customer. And we open only in 2019, and I hope in 2020 we can go on, because in 2020 it's very difficult to work. But I hope we come back in normally time, and we waiting for that. You can see my vineyard. That vineyard is in Montecucco. That is the land of Montecucco. You can see the scene in the long part. That is Montalcino, but you can see here the scene.
Yeah. It's very beautiful.
That was very. Also, is very close to Begnardi. That picture,
which is nice. And, so you have nice neighbors.
It's that is my grapes of Sangiovese in Montalcino area, and you can see very clean situation for the grapes, and very beautiful grapes. We work a lot in the vineyard. Our work in the vineyard, it's very, very first important for the wine. When we talk about the wine, we talk about the grapes, the wine. When you have the grapes, you can make only error for have the wine. If you make every step well, you have the fantastic, wonderful wine. If you don't have the good grapes, it's impossible to have the good wine. That is my last vineyard. I planted that a few years ago. Is in the east part of Montalcino. The picture before is in the ovest part, west part. That is east. Before is east part. My farm, it's the cellar is very close the town of Montalcino, but my vineyard it's around the hill. I have 4 or 5 different parts where we produce wine in the hill of Montalcino. That is very strong for work, but it's very wonderful for the harvest, because you can select every year the best grapes for the particular wine, because every wine needs different approach, different kind of grapes, different situation, because the Brunello need power, need very strong tannin. Rosso di Montalcino is medium need. Poggio Aprigale, when you make Poggio Aprigale, you must find the floral, the elegance. You must have a very beautiful acidity, and for every wine need different grapes. And we are lucky, because every year we can decide to have different approach, a different province of from our vineyard.
It's a beautiful area. If I see the pictures, the area is just so beautiful. It makes me want to travel right away. It's just so beautiful.
Our work, it's like manual. Also the harvest, we don't use machine for harvest. And also we entry in the vineyard for after that time 8-9 times for selection the green, selection the grapes, for clean the grapes, for clean the green, and the work in the vineyard is very, very, very stronger. Also, it's very expensive, but for have the beautiful wine, we must make only that decision. It's impossible make the different decision for have the well wine, the important wine like Brunello di Montalcino and the wine from Montalcino. And you can see now my barrels. Inside there are here Brunello 2009. That is the old picture, but it's our range of cellar. You can see in the hub there are the big barrels. Down there are the big barrels, and the up the medium small barrels. The small barrels in that room, it's only oak from Allier, like the Barrique, like the Tonneau. We don't use now the Barrique, but use the oak from French for have the particular and different approach in the nose.
How big are the barrels? How big?
There are. I use two family of barrels. Is Garbellotto and Pauscia. In that room there are only Garbellotto. I don't know if there are other picture, but in different room we are the Pauscia. Pauscia come from Austria, and Garbellotto come from the north of the part of Italy, but the oak, I hope, come from the same part of Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many liters are in one barrel?
Different. There are different. But
they are bigger than the Barrique.
Yeah. The Barrique is 250, but in the barrels there are 1,000. In the medium barrels, in the upper 1,000. 3,000 in the right part and 4,000 in the left part.
Because that's a much different approach with the oak when you have the big barrels and when you have the small barriques. It's a different oakiness that comes into the wine.
It's very important to use the equilibrium. Wine is equilibrium. It's equilibrium and decision because elegance is equilibrium, and also we must mix the oak for have that situation, for have the very balance, perfectly balanced in every wine. It's not easy because every year is wine. Every grapes is different. Every year is different. And it's not easy, but that is our work, and we make that work together. My enologist is Paolo Vagaccini, is very old family enologist in Toscana, where we make the wine, and also is very important enologist in Montalcino. My second wine is Rosso di Montalcino.
See? Here we are.
The color is a little bit older of the Poggio Aprigale. It's normally that's age for 9 months in the wood, but we bottled that wine after 2 years of the harvest, and it's very important because we entry now in Montalcino Sangiovese 100%, and we must have the very important age, a balanced age in the wood before and after in the bottle. Is the bottle for Sangiovese? It's important like wood, because the Sangiovese need to age in the bottle after wood. You can consider that wine can age in that bottle for 15, 20 years. If you use a good temperature, good humidity, you can that wine can live for long time in bottle.
Let me explain that first, so people are keeping up. Not everybody in Germany speaks good English, so I have to translate. So, wir sind jetzt bei 100% Sangiovese. Der Wein ist ein Rosso di Montalcino, wird auch mit den großen Holzfässern gemacht und schnuppert schon mal vorsichtig rein, es kommt gleich noch mehr. Und er hat gerade erklärt, das ist ein Wein, der kann altern. Den könnt ihr auch mal 15 Jahre im Regal vergessen, wenn er eine gute, also natürlich gut gelagert, nicht im Sonnenlicht und so weiter, aber der ist alterungsfähig. So back to you.
Thank you. And you consider the power, and the power for the life in the wine is the acidity. And in Montalcino only you can have a very, very equilibrium for the maturation, acidity, tannic and color, and sugar. Why Montalcino is very famous land for the Sangiovese? Because when you harvest, there are inside that equilibrium, and the acidity is strong, together the sugar and together the color. And in different parts of Italy, when you arrive close to the sea, the power going up, but the acidity go down. And different when you stay close the mountain, the power is a little bit less, and the acidity is heavy, and that is not correct for the grapes for have a very long life. In Montalcino, that situation you can find like every year. That is very, very first important. That is the lucky for Montalcino, for Montalcino land, and we must respect that opportunity. Our family want to respect that opportunity because that land is very particular, is very important. We respect the grapes, we respect the history of Montalcino, and we want to make the very important and very well Sangiovese 100% in Montalcino. And when you can test Sangiovese, every time you can read, you can see in the bottle the of Montalcino. When you see of Montalcino, you know inside there are only Sangiovese. And that is very, very important because the wine is when you stand in front of the wine, you must know what aspect from that bottle. And Sangiovese is different of Merlot, is different of Cabernet, is different of that grapes. You must find inside the elegance, the power, but the equilibrium really for that grapes, because Sangiovese is very difficult grapes for have the very equilibrium wine inside. My Rosso di Montalcino, we produce around 15,000 bottles every year, and I can say we are in the first 10-20 farm every year. For us, Rosso is a very important wine like Brunello di Montalcino. We have a very long age in the wood, but the selection of the grapes is very important like Brunello. The fermentation like Brunello di Montalcino, for the Rosso di Montalcino, it's like typical fermentation, but we make a little bit changement from my farm. And I use the temperature control, but we use empiric work because I use my fresh water from my land. And for the first 3 days, in the first 3 days of the fermentation, we make the Clio maturation, and maturation without oxygen. For that, we close my tanks and make inside the deoxygen. And the deoxygen cannot and when stay inside the oxygen, we protect the grapes of the oxygen, and the fermentation cannot start. That is very important for have the soft tannic, for the extraction of the color, and for have the very soft mouth. But when you say soft in Sangiovese, you must accept that soft mouth, because really it's not soft, but it's strong, but is a little bit soft of the normally of the normally work. After the fermentation during around 1 week. What is that? The fermentation during around 1 week. After we make the maturation. Maturation not cold but warm. Before is cold together the water fresh. After is warm, and in that moment we decide if that wine go for Brunello or go for Rosso di Montalcino. Because if you have the long maturation warm, you have the strongest factor of the power and go for Brunello. If you have the short maturation, you have the very elegant wine. And we decide to make.
That's very interesting.
Younger Sangiovese, and younger Sangiovese is Rosso di Montalcino.
That's great to know, because that's a very interesting fact for me to, integrate into my wine knowledge. That's very interesting. I of course did smell the wine so far. I didn't drink it so far. And I already noticed that how the smell develops in 10 minutes. It completely changes from a first, like there was first like a peppery or green pepper note, and that's completely gone now. And now it's like smoother and finer and all, all kinds of red fruit.
Yeah, it's that line is our line for all of our wine. The evolution in the nose, together the evolution in the mouth is our idea of wine. Rosso di Montalcino in particular is very important, and the evolution and the complex of the different sensation from the wine is very, very particular. But important is everybody must do the particular sensation for the wine. Probably the wine give me some particular sensation, but probably it's different for you. Because probably you are different of me, but you are in different position, in different way, in different house, in different moment. Every moment, every minute, probably the wine change, and the wine give the beautiful sensation. We must find the beautiful sensation. If you and the customer have that, you have a very good bottle in your house, in your winery, and that is important. What you have in back from the wine, and when that is well, you have one very beautiful wine. And I think now the sensation, every sensation is very beautiful and is very positive, and we can drink for wish very beautiful 21 year. We need a beautiful 21 year, and start that year in that situation is very well for us, and I hope for you, for our friend. Yes. And
yes, I really hope so. And maybe you should get the others together again for a goodbye, and first ask if there are any questions. But the chat is very silent today. But that doesn't matter. There are still people watching, and we are really happy that we have them, because it was for me really important to have people getting interested in well-made wines from Tuscany and Umbria, because it's such a lovely work you all do. Because Sangiovese is a grape that it's widely known, but it's also a grape where you can be very disappointed at some point, you know, because there's so many of them, and so many of them are not good. And we had like 4 fantastic wines tonight. All of them had Sangiovese in them, and you could get an impression of how great and how big the world of Sangiovese is. You know, how many variations there can be of Sangiovese, and all your wines are so well made and so nicely done, and it's all in this world of family made business, in a small production, handmade and done with heart and hard work, you know, that it's really important to tell people about these wines and show them how good they are. And so it was for me a really hard thing to make this tasting today, and to tell people about the great wines that are not the big productions with high profilic names, but are from the small families who do a real good thing and do real good wines. That's why I'm so happy to have you here together tonight, and that you have done the tasting with me and shown your wines to the world. That's very important for me. Thank you all for this. I'm very happy, and thank you for being here. And I hope we can do many, many tastings more together, and we meet again in person and drink wine and have great feasts of wonderful food and wonderful wine again together, because right now it's all not possible, and so we have to look forward for summer and warmth and a time when the vaccination works and everything is going back to a more normal way, and I'm very looking forward to that in the future. So thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for your wines, and salute to all of you. Thank you for your work.
Salute.
Thank you for having us. Salute.
Salute.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we say goodbye to the people. Good night.